there's no question that there are interconnected pieces to why we, in this case, invaded Venezuela and how it's connected to the Zionist state. And that leads us to Paul Singer. Paul Singer is the founder, president, co-CEO, and co-CIO of Elliot Investment Management, launched in 1977 with a small loan of $1 million. You know what $1 million is today compared to 1977? Probably 4 or 5 million would be my guess. So a nice little loan.
I think more than that. I think more than that, but okay.
Nice little something to get you started.
Yeah.
Total assets under management for the Elliott funds have grown to approximately $72.7 billion as of December 31st of 24. Elliott is a Florida, of course he is, based trading firm with affiliated offices elsewhere. The Wall Street Journal has recognized Elliott for its early forecasting of the systemic economic crisis of 2008. The New York Times has written that all the hedge fund managers on Wall Street, Elliott is one of the most revered. In his philanthropic activities, Mr. Singer has played a leading role in supporting research and scholars in the areas of free market economics.
Oh, how generous of him.
Seriously.
He's a real giver.
Rule of law and transparency, healthcare, delivery, innovation. What, you mean like United Health? By the way, in case you guys haven't noticed, we're getting a lot of United Health ads on our channel as well. U.S. national security and the future of Israel. Mr. Singer is also active in supporting the LGBT equality efforts.
How nice of him.
According to the
That's some pink washing right here. Let's do it.
Right. Hey, let's buff his balls while we're at it. According to the New York Times, he was instrumental in the successful campaign to legalize same-sex marriage in New York. Of course he was. He's probably in the closet. Mr. Singer is co-founder of Startup Nation Central, an organization committed to solving global problems through deepening ties between Israel's startup ecosystem and the global innovation economy. Mr. Singer is also the chair of the Manhattan Institute for Policy Research. Yeah, we know how that goes. So this guy is apparently, he stands to benefit in a substantial way when it comes to the Zion, not because he supports the Zionist state, but because he fully supports the invasion of Venezuela and taking over the oil fields.
Yes.
He gave $5 million alone to Trump in 2024. He gave $37 million to the GOP in 2024. It sounds like he's getting a good ROI, if you ask me.
Oh yeah. I mean, is this done? Like, is the article done?
Colin, I know. Colin, where is the other thing that I sent you regarding Singer? AIPAC donor on cusp of reaping billions from U.S. abduction of Maduro.
Here it is.
Paul Singer, a prominent Republican donor, has made a cut-rate offer to buy a string of Venezuelan-owned refineries in the U.S. And of course he looks like that, because why wouldn't he? Scroll up, please. They all fucking look like this with their needle dick. They're all the same, all of them. They all fucking look like this. If you're in a room of wealthy investors or entrepreneurs or bigwigs without the hair, just know that they pretty much all look this way. And I'm sure he's only about 5'5", 5'6". But he's got a lot of money. He makes up for his shortcomings. He looks exactly like you would expect a Zio oligarch to look like. So let's scroll down. A major donor to the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, could reap billions of dollars from a fire sale of Venezuela's oil assets following the U.S. abduction of President Nicolas Maduro on Saturday. Maduro's removal and a pilot government. What does that mean?
And a what?
Where do you see Pliant?
Pliant. Maduro's removal and a pliant government. So pliant means easily manipulable.
Okay. in Caracas could allow Singer to finalize a deal that would see his investment firm, Elliot Investment Management, gain control of a network of U.S.-based oil refineries and at a steeply discounted price. What you mean, like for 2 cents on the dollar, like they always do? When we talk about the rich getting richer, if this doesn't make you sick, I don't know what will. Maybe some people like being subservient cucks to the wealthy and powerful. I don't know, but I certainly won't be. How this is an acceptable discourse. And I was pretty close. Thank you, Algerian.
Okay.
5.34 million today.
Okay.
You don't have to type it 50 times, but I appreciate it. Singer's firm bid $6 billion for refineries in Texas, Louisiana, and Illinois, which some analysts say could be worth $12 billion. If Trump follows through on his pledge to revive Venezuela's oil industry, the country's heavy crude could start flowing back to the U.S. in large numbers. Elliott Investment Management is no stranger to the world of emerging market debt. It made billions of dollars in the aftermath of Argentina's debt crisis in the 2000s. Well, you can imagine how much he's got Milei under his thumb. But it also has an inside track to the Trump White House. Singer, 81, of course, is a major donor to AIPAC and the Republican Party. Of course he is. Singer has emerged as one of the top donors supporting an effort to oust Congressman Thomas Massie from office. So there you go. You want to know who's spending a lot of money to get the one honest operator in the GOP off of Capitol Hill? There he is. The Kentucky Republican has emerged as a sharp critic of U.S. support for Israel and foreign intervention. According to Grok, Paul Singer, globalist Republican megadonor, who's already spent $1 million in the primary against Thomas Massie, stands to make billions of dollars on his distressed Citgo investment now that this administration has taken over Venezuela. You mean invaded and conquered, imperialized Venezuela.
We'll see.
In November, a U.S. judge backed Elliott's bid to buy Citgo, but the sale has not been finalized. Citgo is owned by Venezuela's state-run company, PDVSA. Maduro's government denounced the bid as fraudulent, of course, and a U.S. government-appointed board tapped to oversee Venezuela's oil assets abroad also rejected it. The U.S. Treasury Department still needs to approve the deal. PDVSA was a major player in the global energy industry decades ago, but suffered from underinvestment and mismanagement after Hugo Chavez was elected in 1998 and moved to nationalize the oil industry. Over the last decade, Venezuela's oil sector was hollowed out by crushing U.S. sanctions. Well, there you go. You don't want to trade with us? We'll just sanction your country.
Yeah.
Again, another noticing, as we call it. You are forced to do business with the United States under threat of violence and coercion, not for free will. You have assets, we want them. You will either give it to us on our terms or we'll take them. Those are your choices. The proceeds from Citgo's sale would go to some holders of PDVSA's debt. Venezuela is estimated to have around $150 billion in debt, including debt belonging to PDVSA. Caracas defaulted on its debt in 2017, and its bond prices collapsed in 2019. When the U.S. sanctioned PDVSA's oil sales, roughly 20% of that debt is owned by China and Russia, which has supported Maduro's government. If Citgo's sale is sealed, it would underscore how U.S. investors, particularly hedge funds that purchase cheap Venezuelan debt, are making gains from the geopolitical earthquake in South America. How much more do we have?
Right there.
That's it. The death count from the U.S. attack on Venezuela has risen to over 80, including civilians and members of security forces, including 32 Cuban members of Maduro's security team, according to the AP. U.S. Special Forces abducted Venezuela's president from the capital, Caracas, early on Saturday, and American fighter jets bombed key military installations and bases across the country. Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, said the U.S. abduction of Maduro has Zionist undertones. Yeah. Rodriguez, who served as Maduro's vice president, has been appointed by the U.S. Supreme Court to lead the country on an interim basis.
My understanding from what I've seen and what I've been watching on channels that I watch is we are not in charge of anything there. She's running the country, and I don't know how much or how well she's going to play ball with us. I don't know that. But no, we're not and running things. And this woman, who is now the acting president, is someone who comes from a pretty long history of the opposition. I mean, our opposition, not the opposition of Venezuela. Like from the Chavista revolution, her father was involved in politics there. So this is someone who has been resisting oppression in general. So I don't know that she's necessarily going to be our tool to the way that people think she is. We'll see. I don't know how this is going to play out.
I just don't see the Venezuelan people rolling over and playing dead for Zio billionaires like Paul Singer. And he needs to get his comeuppance. And hopefully he will. Now, when it comes to local, or even, I wouldn't even call it local, but when it comes to our home turf, when it comes to federal elections that will have an impact. Now, Pelosi, as we know, is giving up her seat in San Francisco, probably because she doesn't have a lot of time. And with that being said, there was a town hall that the three primary candidates were being hosted for the other night, and this question came up.
Well, that's that guy that we saw at the college in San Francisco. This is the guy who was sitting there being protected by his handler while somebody was questioning him about his stance on Gaza. So that's fine. He looked about as charismatic then as he does now.
He's also 6'7", apparently, so he's a giant of a man.
Well, he looks like a small little wiener.
Well, he probably has a small little wiener and acts like a small little wiener on top of that. And here he is twiddling his thumbs about is Israel committing a genocide. And
he's on the payroll, by the way.
Oh, absolutely he is. So the question is, how does he think he's going to get elected to Congress? I do think that this is going to be a good test. Scott Wiener is a good test to see what is going to happen in this, what will be a very expensive and highly contested congressional race. It's obviously heavily Democratic. So whoever ends up winning the primary is going to be the congressperson. Even though in California, you do have the two, you have the jungle primary. But there is no question that this man is a prime example of what a Zionist shitlib looks like in human form. Zio Wiener. Yeah. Yeah, but this is a shitlib Zionist in human form. That's what this is.
That clip was from our first candidate debate last night, and it tells you everything you need to know about this race. Because when you can't call out a genocide when the whole world sees one, how can we trust you in DC? The vast majority of people in this country want to stop American taxpayer dollars from funding a genocide in Gaza. We have to replace Republicans and Democrats who aren't with the people, and that's what I'm going to do.
Now, whether is it
Hi, Cedar Child from Beirut.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Yes, please. And that is exactly why the great noticing continues, because that's what's happening here. Now, is Saikat the real deal? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, he's a wealthy entrepreneur. He wants to, I mean, again, he's like Roe in the sense that, is he probably, representative of the people that live in the district that he seeks to represent? Yeah, probably. And at least we know that that's somebody who is not going to get on his hands and knees for the state of Israel. We all know that Scott Wiener will. So are there enough Zio scumbags that live in that district that are going to vote for him in the primary? Who knows? But it's going to be a good test case for sure.